a remote farmstead in the Bavarian countryside, snow blanketing the fields in the dead of winter. It's 1922, and the Gruber family, living at a place called Hinterkaifeck, suddenly vanishes. No one sees them for days. They miss church, the children don't show up for school, and the mail piles up. Worried neighbors finally decide to investigate. What they discover inside the farmhouse will become one of the most chilling and perplexing unsolved mysteries in German history. This is the story of Hinterkaifeck, a case that continues to haunt investigators and armchair detectives nearly a century later. Let's set the scene. Hinterkaifeck wasn't just a home. It was a small, isolated world. The family living there consisted of the elderly couple, Andreas and Cecilia Gruber, their widowed daughter, Victoria Gabriel, and her two young children, 7-year-old Cecilia and 2-year-old Joseph. They also had a new maid, Maria Baumgartner, who had just arrived on the very day the horror began. The family was known to be withdrawn and a bit eccentric. Rumors swirled around them, particularly about the stern and controlling patriarch, Andreas Gruber. The farm was prosperous, but the family dynamics were troubled, with whispers of dark secrets hidden behind closed doors. Just days before the murders, Andreas Gruber told neighbors about strange occurrences. He found a set of footprints in the fresh snow leading from the forest to the farmhouse, but none leading away. He heard footsteps in the attic. A set of house keys went missing. A strange newspaper appeared on the property that no one in the family had bought. Andreas was clearly unnerved, but he never went to the police. Perhaps he thought he could handle it himself, or maybe he feared what a police investigation might uncover about his own life. Whatever the reason, his decision to remain silent would prove fatal. On the evening of March 31st, 1922, something terrible happened. The perpetrator, or perpetrators, seemed to have been hiding on the farm for some time, possibly in the attic, watching the family's every move. The killer's method was brutally systematic. It's believed that one by one, members of the family were lured from the house into the barn. First Victoria, then her mother Cecilia, then Andreas, and finally young Cecilia. Each was struck down with a pickaxe, a common farm tool. The killer then went inside the house and murdered the toddler Joseph as he slept in his cot, and the new maid, Maria, in her bedchamber. The scene that greeted the neighbors 4 days later was one of unimaginable horror. The bodies in the barn were stacked on top of each other, covered with hay. Inside, the two remaining victims lay in their beds. But what made the scene even more bizarre was what happened after the murders. The killer didn't just flee, they stayed. For several days, the perpetrator lived in the house with the bodies of their victims just yards away. They tended to the livestock, fed the cows, and ate food from the kitchen. The dog was tied up, and neighbors reported seeing smoke rising from the chimney over the weekend. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. The family's money was untouched. This was something far more personal and deeply disturbing. The police investigation began immediately, but it was plagued with problems from the start. The crime scene was contaminated by the well-meaning neighbors who discovered the bodies. Dozens of people had walked through the property before the police even arrived, destroying potential evidence. Autopsies were performed, and the victims' heads were even removed and sent to Munich for further examination by clairvoyants, a sign of the desperation and the limitations of forensic science at the time. Despite interviewing over 100 suspects throughout the years, from traveling vagrants to jilted lovers and even former farmhands, no one was ever charged. One of the most prominent theories centered on Victoria's deceased husband, Karl Gabriel, who was supposedly killed in action during World War I. Some of his comrades claimed he had actually survived and was planning to return. Could he have come back to find his wife in a rumored incestuous relationship with her father, and young Joseph being his, not Karl's, son? This theory suggested a crime of passion and revenge. However, other soldiers swore they saw Karl die in the trenches, making this a difficult theory to prove. Another popular suspect was Lorenz Schlittenbauer, a neighbor who had a previous relationship with Victoria and was widely believed to be the biological father of little Joseph. He had been in a dispute with the Grubers over financial support for the child. His behavior after the discovery of the bodies was also highly suspicious. He was one of the first on the scene and seemed unusually calm, moving the bodies and disturbing evidence. For years, he was the primary suspect for many locals, but police could never find enough evidence to convict him. He took his secrets to the grave. Over the decades, the case has been reopened multiple times. Modern profiling techniques have been applied, and countless theories have been debated. Was it a lone, deranged drifter who stumbled upon the isolated farm? Was it a group of robbers who were surprised by the family? Or was it someone much closer, someone who knew the family's routines and secrets intimately? The detail that the killer stayed on the farm suggests a level of comfort and familiarity with the surroundings that points away from a random stranger. It implies a cold, calculated individual who felt no remorse, calmly coexisting with the results of their brutal work. In 2007, a group of police academy students took on the Hinterkaifeck case as a final project, using modern investigative techniques. They analyzed the old evidence, re-interviewed people, and constructed a new profile of the killer. While they couldn't definitively name the murderer, they did come to a consensus on one prime suspect. However, out of respect for the living relatives of that individual, they have never publicly released a name. The secret of Hinterkaifeck remains officially locked away. The farm itself no longer exists. It was demolished a year after the murders, as if to erase the terrible stain it left on the landscape. A small memorial now stands where the farm once was, a quiet tribute to the 6 lives that were so violently cut short. But the story endures. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest monsters are not mythical creatures, but real people. And the most frightening stories are the ones that have no ending. The mystery of who took a pickaxe to the Gruber family and why they stayed to feed the cows remains one of Germany's darkest and most enduring enigmas. What are your theories? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you found this story as fascinating as I do, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest unsolved mysteries.